I want to thank those of you who have been praying for me and my family because I know y'all have been praying for us. And I do appreciate your prayers. I want to give a gratitude and appreciation to all of you who are subscribed to the channel, who do support this channel. You come here not just to watch my life fall apart or to attack me or just pretty much be negative or critical or just to find something to pick with or just find a reason to ridicule me or come up against me. Basically naysayers. I'm glad. For those of you who are not naysayers, who only come on this channel just for the purpose of either hating on me or finding some reason to assault me or attack me or slander me or whatever else, or try and pick me apart. Those of you who are truly here just to support the channel, you're here to receive a message from God or to be uplifting. I really show my appreciation to you all. I did not, as you know, with the will of God, that's what I want to talk to you all about because, see, I told God a lot about this. When I first came back to God many years ago, I kind of wanted to just write books and be like a motivational speaker for young women. I was heading in the direction of, I was a teenage mom. And so I wanted to help other women who were teenage mothers. I wanted to give them the knowledge and show them how to give their lives to God, how to become virtuous women, how to undergo this transformation, how to be better mothers, a better wife, a better woman. That was what I really wanted to do. And I started that process by going around the neighborhood. I was going around the neighborhood where I lived and in the complex, the apartment complex, ministering to young women, talking to them, praying for them, and just telling them about God, sharing my testimony. I was going to the church to share my testimony. And this was the direction where I was headed. And I had my daughters would bring over, a lot of time, my children bring over their school-age friends. They were in high school, and I would talk to these young ladies and young boys, and I would minister to them about God. I would pray for them and just even open my home to them and feed them a meal and just show them love. That was the direction where I was going, and that's what the ministry I thought I would have. It wasn't supposed to be this overly spiritual, biblical ministry that dealt with all these different people and all these different things that I've been confronted with ever since I've been going into the work of God. And I always asked God, I said, Lord, I had this vision of what I wanted. I told you, Lord, I wanted, you showed me that I was going to do this, and that's what I expected, and you gave me something completely different. And now I have this situation where all this stuff is coming against me. I'm faced with all these different complications and all these challenges and hindrances and so many different obstacles. And all kinds of things have happened that I did not expect. And so, you know, when we're walking in the will of God, a lot of times our path that we originally chose can become altered. It can become altered based on the need of God. And so a lot of times like I talked about before in my short that I posted, let it fall into place. Many of us might have a vision in our lives or a plan based off of what we want and what we're hoping to achieve and accomplish based off what it is that we have foreseen. We have a specific purpose that we have foresaw according to the vision that we have, our small vision. And a lot of times this is very small because, see, God has a plan, but his plan unfolds and becomes something completely bigger. His plans, as you know, his ways are higher than ours. Higher means they're bigger. His ways are bigger. We're small-minded. Compared to God, our mind is small. Because, see, God, I talked about this many times, God can see the entire picture unfold where it's not just based off of our small little ideas or our small little feats that we hope to accomplish or our small little focus, because our focus is only what we see in front of us or what's around us. We can't comprehend the vast focus of God that reaches so many different perspectives that are all over. It's a different magnitude, it's a different level that now encompasses everything, even that reaches far beyond our borders where we are right now. And so when we have a vision, God will have a plan that's completely different. Because our vision is only what we can see, this little tiny little scope, this little perspective, what we see right now here in front of us. And see, when God pulls us, he wants to try to pull us up to a higher level, meaning he wants something bigger. He wants something, it might not be bigger, it might be something greater. Where, if you think about it, if you ever took a job and you were expecting to take the job. You saw this role, I guess. You might have looked on the internet, or someone might have told you that this place was hiring, and you come in there expecting for one thing. You're preparing for this menial role, and you're hoping to obtain it. You're confident that you'll be able to obtain it because you have the experience, you have the expertise, the skills for this role. But the company offers you a bigger role now. They're offering you a role that you did not prepare to have. Because see, you did not understand that you could even have this role. First of all, you didn't expect this role to be even attainable, because you don't even meet the skill sets. You don't qualify for this role. This is a role that you never expected to have, because it surpasses the role that you had in mind. And so this is what God will sometimes give us. We will have a vision and or a plan for one thing. But God is going to offer us something. He's offering something much bigger. And what he's saying, this is why we have to rely on him, because sometimes when we have a vision, our vision, like I said, it only impacts what we can see, what our limited eyes can see, our limited minds, our limited perspectives, our limited vision. It does not compare to that of God, which is much bigger, much greater. And oftentimes, when God wants us to reach up to a newer level and to become equipped to be able to handle this role that he's placing us in, we're going to have to go through some things. See, when you want to prepare for this position, there are going to be some certain challenges that you're going to have to face in order to grow, in order to be equipped for that role. And a lot of times we go against it. We don't want to fight it. We don't want to step into that role because we don't want to take on that new level of responsibility, or we don't want to go through what it is that God's taking us through so that we can be prepared for this role. Because see, our minds are still on this small little role that we already expected to have, but God is telling us he's stretching us to a new level. And when we go against it, we're fighting against the will of God. We're going against his will because, see, again, his ways are different. When he has a will in mind, yes, it might be something that we think, but it's something much bigger. That's just a small portion. What God unfolds and reveals to us when he first tells us this plan. A lot of times God doesn't tell us everything, because, see, if he told us everything, when we see this, we're going to be thinking, how can I can I do this? How am I going to be able to do this? Just like when you remember when Jesus was telling Peter how he had to go through all this stuff, how he had to be crucified. Peter was like, no, you're not supposed to go through all that. And he said, get thee behind me, Satan. Because see, when God gives you the entire picture, oftentimes your mind cannot comprehend this. You're thinking with your own physical, fleshly, earthly body, and you're looking at your own limitations and your own inhibitions, your own weaknesses, and you're going to start becoming filled with doubt. And when you see the challenges that you have to overcome, if God would have told you this up ahead of time, you're going to back out. You're going to be afraid. You're going to basically walk away from God's will. You're going to stop his will from unfolding. So when God gave me that vision many years ago, back in 2007, 2009, when I first came back to him, yes, that was a portion of what he showed me, but he did not present the entire picture to me. And see, the entire time I sat here, when God was bringing me through all these challenges and difficulties, I didn't want to go through them because I'm like, Lord, all I asked you for was just to do this, but you're making me go through all of this. And this is how we begin to fight against the will of God, because, see, we want to stay at this one little level. But God is telling us, no, I'm preparing you to climb higher because I have something greater in store for you. My will, yes, this is a part of the will, but that's only a part of it. It's only a small portion. It's only one little small aspect of the job. And see, in order to be able to take on the entire role, to meet the responsibilities of the entire role, the full duties of this job, there are going to be some things that we have to go through and face, but that we might not want to go through it. It might seem like a challenge or a burden, and it's something that you don't look forward to, but in order to be equipped for the place that God is calling you to go, you're going to have to undergo a lot of things, a lot of challenging things. And this is what we call the place where God is taking you. He's strengthening you and equipping you, and he's purging you. The purging process, as we grow fruits, he takes the fruit away. He purges so more can grow. But when you want to stay stuck and stagnant, or you want to stay on the same little level and you don't want to reach higher, you're now stopping the process. See, the process is not going forward, and you're now halting God's plans because, see, you want to stay here. And as you know, I talked about this before, when you reach one height, You're graduating to different levels. There's levels to this. I talked about this in the video on here, that there's levels. And many of us, we fight against what God has taken us through because we don't want to go through a little bit of tribulation and suffering and pain. And we're prepared for this one position, this one role, like we want this entry level role, but God has given us promotion. He's trying to advance us. And when we fight against that, we're telling God, well, I'm comfortable right here. But see, God is not comfortable with us staying at the same level because he has already predestined and ordained us to reach higher levels, to reach new heights. We continue to grow through him. As we continue to grow, we're not prepared for that level, that place where he's calling us to be. See, what you might have thought was where you're supposed to end up is not where God has already ordained for you to go, because he has already called you to reach to a further height, to a newer level in him. But in order to do that, there's some things that we have to go through. There's some things that we have to accomplish and surpass. There's some things that we have to overcome. There's some things you have to overcome in order to reach that place where God is calling you to go, where God has already planned for you to be. And many of us, we fight against that process because we want to stay stuck here. We're comfortable. Because see, we not a lot of people, we don't like to be uncomfortable. When you grow and when you reach in a new height, when you expect it to reach a new level, you come out of your comfort zone. And see, you're not used to this. Because see, that's what God wants us to be. When you're comfortable, you ain't growing. You have to go through some discomfort in order to grow. I talk about it's just like when you reach a new level, when you take a new level in school, when you're in college, you know when they have the 101, that entry level course 101. Well, in order for you to get to the next level, now you're gonna have to learn some new stuff. You're gonna have to take some tests. You're gonna pass some tests. That each time you get up, when you move to a newer level or higher grade level, don't you know that the challenges become harder? It becomes harder. The quizzes, the tests you have to take become harder. You have to study a little more. You have to prepare a little longer. And so when we're telling God, I just wanted to do this right here. I'm okay with this. But you're letting him know that you're not trying to grow. Because see, God's trying to reach us to new heights. He doesn't want us to stay stagnant. He does not want us to stay the same. This is why he's constantly purging the fruit. This is why he's constantly taking us and stretching us and pressing and purging so we can continue to grow. Because if you stay stagnant, you're not going to grow. Eventually, you're going to start to regress a bit. And see, when God calls us to a higher level and we're telling him we don't want to go through what it takes. We're comfortable right here. Now you're telling God, I don't want the will that you have for me. I want my own will. You're fighting against God's will. And the Lord showed me, I was fighting against his will because I kept saying, I want this. Lord, you show me this. But he's telling me, yeah, that was a part of it. But I have a much greater in store for you. And this is what I'm trying to let you know today. God has much greater in store. If you would just let go and trust his will and allow him to take you through it and make you a little bit uncomfortable. I don't think you hear me. See, we have to get to that place where we are allowed to go through whatever it is that we're going to be stretching and continue to have faith and trust in God no matter how hard and difficult it looks. No matter how hard it seems. See, God does not want us to become complacent. And just because we might have had one thing in our minds, that does not mean that God wants us to stay there. That does not mean that we don't just move. We don't keep growing. We don't keep maturing to a new level. We don't keep moving forward and being promoted. Because see, when you're already mastered one level, when you've now mastered this level, guess what? God's going to take you up. He's going to take you to the next level. And now you're going to receive a promotion. But with the promotion becomes another test. A harder test than the test that was before it, than the previous test. And so when we're stuck here saying, Lord, I like where I'm at. I'm comfortable. God's saying, no, I'm not comfortable. Because see, you already done mastered that level. I'm ready for you to move somewhere else. I don't want you to stay there. I have more for you. I have more that's waiting. There's more in store. There's more places for you to reach. There's more people that are waiting for you and your gifts and your promises, your blessings that I've bestowed upon you. There are more people that you need to encounter. so that I can free those people, so I can do the work that I was prepared to do for those people's lives through you. See, there's some places that I want to touch that I haven't gotten to yet. And see, that's what the Lord is telling a lot of you when you're sitting here, you're still stuck. You don't want to move forward, because I get it. When we don't like foreign, strange places, a lot of times change, it causes us to sometimes we're uncomfortable, or a lot of times we're afraid of change, because change brings something different, something that you're not expecting. When you become used to something, when you become to something that's familiar, you know what it is. You know what to expect. So you say, I got this. I know what I'm expecting. But see, when God takes you away from something after you had already gotten comfortable, see, that's what he likes to do. See, God likes to do that. He'll take you away. He'll snatch you away from something once you've gotten comfortable with it. Now, once you've mastered it, now God take you away. You're like, Lord, wait a minute. Hold on. I just got used to this. But God said, I'm ready to move you on now. I'm ready to move you somewhere else. I'm ready to use you in a much bigger way, in a different way. Now you're going to have to relearn. Now you're going to have to learn some new skills. And now God's telling you some new stuff that you need to know. But you still holding on to the old stuff. So how can you be prepared for what the new stuff that God has for you? So this is where God is. He's telling us, I'm ready to promote you. I'm ready for you to take on this new level. You're still holding on to the old level. I'm ready to do a new thing with you. But you still holding on to the old stuff. How can I do anything new when you still hold on to the old? How can I do something new when you're still complacent? You want to stay comfortable. You in your little comfort zone. You're stuck here. You don't want to move forward. You don't want to come out of your comfort zone. You want to stay comfortable. You're complacent now. And see, when you become complacent, God starts to shake some stuff up. And you remember when Jonah was sitting in that boat, he started to shake that boat up, because see, Jonah, he didn't want to go where God told him to go. So he had to shake the boat a little bit. And see, that's what God's starting to do to some of us. He's shaking that boat up a little bit. He's sending a little bit of storms in your life to cause you to get up and move, because he said, you too comfortable now. And that's what happens when you start seeing a lot of calamity coming around you. And it's not always Satan, okay? It's not always Satan sending them storms. Sometimes God's sending them storms to you because you won't move when he's telling you to move. See, you stuck and you comfortable. See, God's making you uncomfortable because he's ready to move you somewhere new. He's ready to do something different with you. Stop fighting against the will of God and start following him. Start trusting his will.